Hello, everyone.
Hi Tracy.
Hi, Peter. You okay?
Yeah, good.
Hi, Tracy.
I'm Jill.
Hi Jill.
Hello.
Just move it a little bit so you can see our Janet as well.
Yeah, hi Janet.
Hi. Oh, they're popular, these meetings. There's still people coming.
Hiya, you all right?
Hello.
Hiya, Dan, Tom.
Yes. How are you doing? You okay?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks.
So bad. Just trying to work out how to.
Oh yeah, Dan's fuzzy, and I'm not. Not sure why.
It'll be your background. If you take your background off.
Where is that? Whereabouts is that? We don't use it too often. We're sporty people, not tech people.
Do you know what? Good question. I don't know, is my honest answer. I know where it is on Teams, but I don't know where it is on Zoom.
That's true. Settings,
we
maybe.
we might find it.
If you lean forward, Tom, if you lean forward.
Oh,
Yeah,
background. Here we go.
None.
That's better.
Better.
Get your
There
ball
we go.
in there.
I could get the San Francisco Golden Gate Bridge in the background if you want.
Well, it's just 3 minutes past, so I think we'll launch straight in. We don't have any spotlights today. Nobody's asked to do a spotlight today. So if anybody wants to think about it and then give me a shout, you can have 10 minutes free if you want to. If you don't, that's fine. We'll go around as we normally do. So has anybody has got a burning ambition to talk for 10 minutes on whatever subject they like? They can talk about anything they want, really. No, nobody's waving at me frantically. So okay then. So what I'll do, Jill, I'm going to put you on the spot here again. We'll go straight into the Pendle Health and Wellbeing Partnership update, if that's okay with everybody. And then we'll do the rounds. We'll do the rounds after that. All right. Thanks, Jill.
Okay, thank you. So, yeah, since the last meeting, there's been a Pendle Partnership event. So, Tracy, you attended that, didn't you? And it was 7:30 in the morning, which was incredibly early at the end of February. At PAC, they hosted it in Cone. So the Pendle Partnership event was a follow-on from an event that happened in November, where basically it's pulling together all the strategic leads across all of Pendle's partnerships. So there's the health and wellbeing partnership was represented, the community safety partnership was represented, the vision board, the cohesion groups. So a range of all the strategic partners coming together in a room, and the idea being that, can we pull together collectively as a large strategic partnership to sort of oversee the work of the thematic partnerships in Pendle and sort of help ensure that there's that streamlining and sort of joint working between the partnerships, and looking at opportunities for shared visions and shared objectives and things for Pendle. So, as I say, the second meeting was held at the end of February. It was hosted by the Chief Exec of Pendle Council, Rose Roos. She's actually leaving the council in a couple of weeks. I don't know if people know that she's moving on to Darlington, so we're going to be getting a new chief exec, an interim chief exec. But she updated partners about what was happening really within the sphere of local government. So I don't know if people are aware of what's happening and the plan changes around for local government, but there's basically two key pieces of work that's being undertaken at the moment that's going to have an impact on Pendle and all the districts and the councils in Lancashire. So there's the combined authority work. So no doubt people would have heard of the Greater Manchester Combined Authority, West Yorkshire Combined Authority, and other examples where they've got mayors in place that are taking high-level strategic decisions about what's best for that place. Well, Lancashire's moving towards that model too. So we've now formed, apparently, it's now a formal strategic authority, it's called, and they had their first meeting in in February, and they're basically moving to become a mayoral authority from next year. So with that, there'll be powers and things that are devolved from Westminster direct to Lancashire. So as a place, that will strengthen Lancashire's opportunity to draw down strategic funding streams and make more sort of coordinated efforts to improve key strategic themes across Lancashire. Along with that comes devolved budget. So there's up to 20 million that's going to come into Lancashire for this year to support that combined authority work. So that's happening around the combined authority. And then there's also some work happening around as part of the local government reorganisation. So there's this current government have said that they want to basically they want to unitise all UK councils. So basically, as you'll know, we're in a two-tier area at the moment: county council and district councils. So the government is looking at abolishing the two-tier setup and just have single unitary councils operating in those areas where we've got currently county councils. So obviously that's going to be quite a huge thing for Lancashire. So we're just currently in the really early stages of having those discussions about what that could mean for Pendle and what it'll mean for all the other districts as well. So changes afoot around in local government. So it's just a case of watching this space really, and no doubt all the comms and everything will come out once they've got an idea of what it could look like for Pendle and for Lancashire. So those were the main updates really that were given at the Pendle Partnership meeting. There was also a focus on community safety. So there was a lot of discussion around fly tipping and the fact that Pendle has got incredibly high fly tipping rates. That's despite us, the council operating a bulky waste service that's currently free of charge. All other districts charge for their bulky waste collections, but we don't in Pendle, but we have got really high fly tipping rates. So it's just trying to understand what that's about, and obviously recognising the impacts of fly tipping as well on the community and the knock-on effect that has on a whole range of other issues as well. So that was the main sort of area of discussion around the community safety, and then we went into workshops and just discussed really what we could do around each of the themes that have been identified at the previous session, and really coming up with some high-level actions as the Pendle Partnership that could take forward. So one of the things that came out of the workshop was this whole idea of some sort of unifying branding that pulls everybody together, that everybody can identify with, and have like some sort of umbrella branding for all the thematic partnerships, including the People of Pendle group, but something that everybody feels part of. And I know that's been raised before in different forums, so it's good that that was flagged up at that high level meeting as well. There's, in terms of the actions and things, I mean, the notes haven't been circulated yet, but again, we can circulate the notes to this group so people have got an idea of what was discussed and the outcome from that meeting. Was there anything else, Tracy?
Not that I can think of. I don't think so. I think you've covered everything there, Jill. It was a really good get together, despite it being the middle of the night. It was a really good get together with that high level people. I don't consider myself high level. I was sent because my boss was on holiday. So so I was there as an infiltrator. But yeah, it was a really good meeting. There was some really good discussions. I know on our table we were talking about identity, you know, that story of Pendle. What is that story of Pendle? You know, it means different things to different people. You know, there's all the history, there's the Pendle witches. Is it the hill? You know, that kind of thing. But I know People of Pendle kept coming up in that discussion, and how people identify as a person of Pendle. You know, not necessarily, you know, a white middle-aged woman from Pendle. It'd just be, I'm a person from Pendle. So yeah, it was that kind of thing. So yeah, thanks, Jill. Thank you for that. And like Jill said, we'll circulate the notes from that meeting as well.
Yeah, there was also the Pendle. What did we call ourselves? The Network for Change.
Oh yeah,
meeting that was held. Yeah. So this was a meeting that a group that was set up following on the leadership sessions that was arranged through the Pendle Health and Wellbeing Partnership last year. So it's basically a forum where we can get together to look at what needs to change within the system to help us deliver on our action plans and our thematic priorities for health. I mean, obviously, that's recognising that the whole system's going to change around us anyway, just in light of the local government review, reorganisation. But still, there's still a need for people to come together to look at how can we tackle some of these wider issues and address system change. So from that work, there was some actions identified looking at really around physical activity and Bradley, and it was basically we were saying is there something we can do around Bradley in terms of mapping? And I know mapping's been discussed numerous times before, but it's about understanding what are the services, what are the activities that residents in Bradley are accessing, what are the barriers, and just get more of a comprehensive overview. We've focused on Bradley just because obviously that's a priority area, but then also it's just we need to do this sort of start off in small steps really, and it just if it's something that can then potentially be rolled out in other districts in other areas, but for the time being we'll target that work in Bradley. Is Vic on or any the Up and Active team on the call, or is it Sanja she's a physical activity network coordinator, isn't she? So she's going to be doing some work around the mapping.
Yeah, Dan and Tom are on. I don't know whether do you know anything, Dan and Tom? No.
Sorry, about the about the pathways. Do you mean within
the mapping of the any activities that are in Bradley? You might not know.
It's not something that I've been made aware of. It might be something that our manager Vic is aware of.
Yeah.
Obviously, Dan emailed you the other week, and we kind of just got asked to come on the call to basically describe the type of work that we're doing in Pendle at the moment. If it's something that might be appropriate to say at this meeting, just get a feel for the type of people on the meeting. Obviously, I just look through the names, and I do know a few people who are on the meeting. But yeah, so we just do our day-to-day delivery. So it's like weight management, cardiac rehabilitation, the exercise referral program.
Okay, hold that thought,
Yeah.
Tom. We're going to come back to that.
All right, yeah.
So you can talk all about everything that you do. Just hold that thought, but just for 1 second. Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, Jill, the systems change group, the Network for Change.
Yeah.
It is about physical activity, and just on Bradley, I'm going to be starting to do some work with Bradley Big Local shortly. Now everything's been sorted out, the paperwork's been sorted out and everything. So I'll have a greater insight into what is actually happening in Bradley, what can be happening in Bradley, and there'll be a funding stream attached to that as well. So it's only a small funding stream, and there are priorities that the partnership want to focus on. But yeah, there'll be more things happening in Bradley if I can help it. Once I get my teeth into it, I can get over there. So yeah, that's just about Bradley. Thank you, Jill. Thank you for that. I've forgotten about Network for Change. Gone. Thank you. Okay then. So just talk about
Tracy.
Yes, Peter.
Just ask a couple of quick questions of Jill, just to clarify. Sorry, and I'm not a person of Pendle, Tracy, so I do feel a bit of an outsider speaking from the Valley. Sorry.
We'll allow
Jill,
you
when you
for now.
say, those. Thank you. When you describe those two meetings, the one in November, the one in February, as partnership, is that the health and well-being partnership?
No, not necessarily. There were representatives from the Health and Wellbeing Partnership there. Basically, it's an umbrella partnership for all the thematic partnerships. So Health and Wellbeing were represented. The chair of the Health and Wellbeing Partnership was there, and a number of other representatives from the Health and Wellbeing Partnership. But there are other partnerships there as well. So the Community Safety Partnership were present. What's called the Vision Board, which is like the economic partnership for Pendle.
Right.
So it was a range of the main thematic partnerships in Pendle, pulling them all together. And
Is that a
looking
new? Is that a new thing? A new
It's
sort
a relatively, yeah. I mean, way back in the day, if anyone can actually remember, as anyone was involved back in the day, we had, it was called the Local Strategic Partnership, and this is going back a long time, maybe 10 years ago or so
I
now.
remember that in Preston.
Yeah, and community strategies and things.
Yeah.
But it's recognising that type of model, you know, it's good just to have that overarching brand that pulls together all the thematic partnerships and just make sure that everybody's going in the same direction with, you know, with the similar objectives and visions and things. And, you know, these partnerships aren't going off on their own tangents and things. So yeah, that's the purpose of it. But
So
as I say, it's only met twice.
So what came out of that leadership event? I think I was on the same table as Tracy end of last year. What's come out of that is the Network for Change.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
I just final. So with the local government reorganisation, what's the best guess on the timescale on that? Because we're looking, aren't we, at a unitary which will be essentially East Lancashire.
Yeah, we don't know as yet. We don't know what that's going to look like. In terms of timescales, it is moving quite quickly for local government. So they need to submit their high-level proposal. Lancashire, it needs to submit its high-level proposal by the 21st of March. There won't necessarily be any detail in that as to what it will look like, what the different councils will look like in Lancashire. But then they need to then submit, I think, the more detailed plan for November. And then they're looking at the earliest, they're saying about 2028 when it'll come in, when any new council will come in. But as I say, you know, anything can happen between then and now. But yeah, it's those are the sort of timescales that we're working on. But as I say, at the moment, we haven't got anything in terms of what it's going to look like.
We have
and
a
what
pretty
it's
good
going to
guess.
look like.
We have a pretty good guess.
I think, yeah.
All right, I won't ask any more. Thanks, Jill. Thanks, Tracy.
Anyone else got any questions for Jill before we move on? Karen, did you put your hand up then? Or were you just moving your arm? No. Okay, thank you. Okay, thanks, Jill. Thanks very much for that. So we'll move on, but can you all just bear in mind, please, any themes that are coming through when people are talking to you, when the community's talking to you, if there's any themes that are coming through, please will you tell us about it so Jill and I can take it to the Health and Wellbeing Partnership and the various other partnerships that we're involved in. Because the nature of this group is we get a lot of people and we get a lot of information and we can feed it into these various places that we all go to. So thank you for that. So I'm just going to go around my screen. Jill, I'm going to leave you out if that's all right for now, unless you've got anything else you want to add. No, okay. Neil, you're next on my screen. Hello, Neil.
Hello. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Grand. You want me to do the intro, tiny short intro thing?
If you want to, yeah.
Basically, yeah, for those who don't know me, I'm the funding officer for East Lancashire at the National Lottery Community Fund. So I'm the sort of fund's local representative in East Lancashire. Update on that if anyone's curious about funding, because we are one of the biggest sources of funding for the voluntary sector. It's business as usual for our small grants program, the Awards for All, to carry on. Bigger grants, please wait until April 1st before applying or speaking to me about that. And I will be doing more messaging, or rather from April. I thought it would be February, March, but it's looking more like April, May, as is the way of these things. And beyond that, there are other opportunities sometimes that people neglect at our website for more targeted programs that, you know, if people do want to have a look at those or even speak to me about them, there's not much I can tell you. But my details are in the note that goes around with the People of Pendle. And you can drop me an email. I'm just going to be incredibly useless and frustrating until April 1st. But after that, I will try and follow up as well. There's been quite a few changes from us. But yeah, so groups that are here present on the call or who you guys work with, I'm always happy to try and follow up and speak to them if possible. Cheers, guys.
Thanks, Neil. Thank you. Catherine Ashworth. I'm just looking to see if there's any other Catherines. I don't think there is. Catherine.
Hello. The only thing to update is a little bit about dementia positive Pendle, and I don't know if Kim was going to do this, but they have had a meeting recently, and there is sort of a company interested in doing some significant fundraising for them, which will be brilliant. So they're starting to think about what that might be used for. And some of the suggestions were obviously looking at the dementia cafes that we've got already in Pendle, but also looking at possibly transport, which we have discussed on this meeting many times, that we're fortunate we've got an awful lot available, but we've got people who can't access it. So watch this space on that. They are also looking at funding, it's almost completed, a toolkit, a booklet for people. That's almost completed. And they're obviously going to be running an event in the summer, date yet to be confirmed. And date for diaries, Dementia Week this year is the 19th to the 25th of May. And also another date for diaries is that Hoarding Week is just before that, 12th of May to the 16th. So we need to have a think about what we might be doing in those weeks. And that's it, really.
Fab. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you. Kim, anything you want to add to what Catherine said? You're on mute. Do you know what? If I had £1 for every time that's said in any meetings.
Am I right now?
Yes, you're right now.
Yeah, just following on from Catherine really about the hoarding. It's a massive problem across Pendle. We have been working with a psychologist who's doing a lot of work in Hyndburn, but there's some cost into that. So we're trying to look at that. But it could be, Catherine, isn't it, that we approach this group and look if other people are willing to contribute, because we just seem to go around in circles all the time with the hoarding issues. So it'd be really good if everybody could work together with that, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there's a 12-month piece of work going on in Hyndburn, and it's going very well. Kim and I have been fortunate to go to some sessions there, and obviously learning will be shared with localities, but we feel there's a need in Pendle to get working quickly together. We've tried, and it does come down to somebody to actually take the reins and run with it, and also a financial element, because I feel we do need the expertise of somebody to make sure we don't fall down any holes and go in the right direction first time round. So I don't know how we go about that, whether we look at monies from different parts, PCN, if the local authority have got any money. Can't think ELHT will have any money. So I don't know. Thoughts welcome.
I suppose it might not be a bad idea, Catherine, to see if we could get Ian Porter just to come to People of Pendle.
Good idea.
Just say what actually he's done, because he's done it in other areas of the country and he's had really good success. But he's made me and Catherine look at hoarding completely different way from what we've done previously. And we've thought we've done good work as other services as Pendle Council. It doesn't work. What we've been doing doesn't work. So we need to look at it completely different. But it would be good to just sort of give a brief overview, wouldn't it, about what they're trying to achieve and how working together does work.
Perhaps it's about pulling together a group as well. Maybe, I mean, I know the council has a hand in this because they're doing all the cleanups,
But they're not, Tracy, that's the thing. They do them, but they don't work. We've had deep cleans.
I know, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. You need the council involved because they're doing the cleanups. That we know that they don't work because you're treating the symptom and not the cause. So, maybe it's about getting a group together of decision makers that can go, yeah, well, we can do that bit, or we could do that bit, or, rather than, INT try and do it on their own. it's a collective.
Kim and Catherine, is Gemma Waterhouse involved in that work then? Because she's approached the council asking about support around hoarding. So obviously it's been flagged up there as well.
Is she in Children and Families, Jill?
So I just wondered if she was linked into the work that you're doing. Yeah, yeah.
Jill, is she in Children and Families?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so she was at the same thing as Kim and I,
Yeah.
and we have reached out to her to say, can we come together? Because there's no
Right.
point us both setting off on pieces of work, but we haven't heard back from her.
Right.
But I think what's happened in Hyndburn is they've done some work with young families. I think it was health visitors going into properties where children are living in properties where hoarding is a barrier, and they're feeling that if they can get in early, it will hopefully be a little bit more preventative. And that's an area that Kim and I haven't looked at because the people we see tend to be older, but we do get some families. So I think there is scope to work together, but it's she's come from exactly the same place as Kim and I.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I know because she's made enquiries just to find out what support is available around the prevention stuff through Tim Horsley and, the work that he's doing through the Transforming Lives panel.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but yeah, it might be worth in terms of it coming together to look at how we can better join things up. So yeah, I'll ensure you're included in the response then.
Thank you.
Tim gives to Gemma. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Kim, is there anything else you want to add?
No, that's fine. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you. Karen?
Hello. Been quite busy really, to be fair. We've been mapping out our vision for the Big Bradley local. We've also got a bid in with the lottery. We've also been doing I don't know if you know, with Wilmot Dixon, the construction company that's building the police station, as part of their added social value, we've had a number of people come along to help volunteer, but also because I think the work's nearly finished, they're looking at leaving like a lasting legacy. And I believe I've just been notified today we've got the police crime commissioner coming to visit us on the 6th of March. So quite a lot going on for us at the moment, and we're still just operating 1 day a week, but in that time we're still seeing a lot of families and still having a lot of families referred into us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Karen. Thank you. Danielle?
Hello, yeah, Danielle, Pendle Council. Just a couple of things, I suppose. We are looking at putting together our Easter holidays and food activity programme. So no sooner it feels like as Christmas finished and we're on with the next one. So yeah, for anybody that doesn't know, that's sort of a funded childcare provision over Easter that's run in different community venues across Pendle for children in need and from vulnerable families. And then the only other thing to mention is in, I think it was November last year, we had a workshop with Food Active all around looking at obesity and healthy weights and the sort of good things that we were doing in Pendle and the things that maybe we could improve on in Pendle. From that, we've put together a task group, and we are going to be meeting on Thursday, and that task group is going to be looking at putting together a healthy weight declaration for Pendle. So if anybody sort of was involved in the workshop and wants to come along, or wasn't, it doesn't matter whether you were or weren't involved in that workshop. If you think you want to come along to the task group on Thursday to have a look at what a healthy weight declaration for Pendle might look like, we want it to be like a collaborative thing. We want it to be something that's going to work, that we think we can obviously get behind. So yeah, just drop me an email if that's something you want to be involved in. But obviously we'll be sharing that. It's probably going to go through the Health and Wellbeing Partnership once we've put together a draft outline of what that might look like. And that's me, I think, Tracy.
Thank you. Thanks, Danielle. So Anne Eddington. You're on mute, Anne.
Better?
Yes, can hear you now.
Thing is, when you're on Teams, it's in the top corner, and then you're on Zoom, it's in another place. And I think that's the key, picking your corners. So I'm from Home Start in East Lancashire. I know one person, Jill Dixon, on this panel. She interviewed for my Home Start post 11 years ago, Jill. Can you believe it? And and Neil, I've heard of because he's our lottery go-to officer for Home Start, and Kishwa sends her regards to both of you. So with only coming on today, I don't know, it's such a big, massive remit we've got in Home Start. So whether I prepare something for the next meeting, what do you think, Tracy? Would that be okay?
By all means, Anne, do you want a spotlight on the next meeting so you can have 10 minutes to talk about Home Start?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, but I think it's good to come in today and just listen to what's going on and where we could fit.
Yeah. It's a good group to be on. We always say, people are busy, you don't have to come on to every meeting. Jill and I are generally here every meeting. Catherine and Kim generally make it to most meetings. Neil's tended to make it to every meeting as well as Danielle. But if you're busy, don't worry about it, because the recordings are available on YouTube, so you can watch the meetings.
Yeah.
And also the contact details are sent out as well, so you can contact anybody on those. That's the beauty of the membership. You can, everybody's given permission to share their details. So so you don't have to come along to every meeting, because we know everybody gets busy.
Okay, thank you.
Anne, can I just ask what your role is in Home Start now? Are you still doing the
leading on the genetics?
You're still doing
doing lots of things. So but since you kind of offered me your job, we've joined. We cover the 5 boroughs now. We merged with Rosendale and Hyndburn and everything. So it's quite a big team. But unfortunately, Kishwa is leaving us in the middle of March. She's been with Home Start for 18 years. So, but we're carrying on. She's trained as well. Thank you.
Yeah, do send her my regards.
Yeah, I will.
Thank you, Anne. Thank you. Zoe, anything you'd like to update everyone on? I think you might have frozen, Zoe. I'll come back to you. Kirsty.
Hi there.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes, lovely. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So I work for Lancashire Fire and Rescue, and we run one of the King's Trust programmes, so the team programme, which is aimed at young people aged 16 to 25. So it's a 12-week programme aimed at getting them employability skills and helping build things like their confidence. It's accredited through Nelson and Con College, so they do actually come out with a qualification at the end of it. So like Tracy said, we jump on sort of as and when we can, because we're usually running programme, but this has fallen quite nicely in their work placement week, so they're not actually in team room. So yeah, it was just kind of to fill everybody in as to that we are here. We run out of Nelson Fire Station, but there are 8 teams currently running across Lancashire, so there is a team in pretty much any area. So if anyone's working with any young people, please do refer them over that you think might be interested in joining. We're also always on the lookout. Part of the programme, our young people are required to complete a community project, where they will complete a project for a non-profit or charity organisation that needs some sort of work doing for them that they otherwise either wouldn't be able to afford to do themselves, or maybe haven't got the manpower to do. So that can be a painting and decorating project, it can be a gardening project, building project, whatever it is that you might need. So if there's something that you've kind of got popping into your mind, please do just get in touch and let us know. And that's pretty much it from me.
Thank you, Kirsty.
Oh, sorry, I've got somebody in me here. We'd also really like to invite anybody that would like to come and see. So at the end of each team, our young people do a final presentation. It's quite a lovely, fancy event. We invite lots of people to come and hear their stories and see what they've kind of got up to. We do put on a really nice spread afterwards. But if anybody would like to attend, I'll put our email in the comments, and if you just send us an email, let us know that you come in, we'll add you to our list.
Fab. Thank you, Kirsty.
Thank you.
Zoe.
Hi, can I just ask Kirsty, are you doing the car wash with the King's Trust from Nelson Fire Station again this year?
Oh, very good question.
We'd like to. They haven't spoke to us yet about what date it is.
Yeah, we haven't got a date yet, but we probably will be doing it at some point. So as soon as I have a date, I'll make sure that gets sent out as well.
Yeah, we're just next door at Pendle Community Hospital in the INT office. So if you let us know, I think it wasn't last year, but the year before,
Yes.
majority of us nipped round for a quick car wash and to support the cause.
We
So
did.
yeah, that'd be good.
Thank you, Kirsty. Zoe, have you got anything you want to update on?
A few bits. I kind of like focused on the fact that spring is in the air. Although we have one good day and then it feels like we have 5 bad. But there's been some new gardening clubs that have kind of cropped up in the area. The Dean Centre is advertising gardening clubs from their community allotment off Rothsey Road in Briarfield. So they're running a women's and children's, like mum and kids group on a Monday, 1 o'clock till 3 o'clock. And then on Wednesday, 1 o'clock till 3 o'clock, they're advertising it as families, including dads and grandparents. So that's something new. Hodge House, they're due to start some free gardening sessions in March. So it's worth keeping a lookout on their Facebook page for dates. I think the contact is Michael at In Situ from the poster that I got sent through. So it looks like they're running it. We've still got the Good Life Project running down on Readerford Road. So they do support around mental health down on the allotment site. And they do a women's only group as well. I think it's on a Tuesday afternoon. And then I've also spotted that we've got calico printing workshop that starts on Thursday, the 13th of March, 12 o'clock till 3 o'clock. That's running from Queen Street Mill, Halsyke in Burnley. I found that information on the Arts in Pendle Facebook page. And also, I'm looking to see if anybody's running any men's cookery courses. So if anybody knows of any or fancies starting one, then please let me know. I've got a few clients that would like to learn how to cook. Thank you.
Brilliant. So I would suggest you talk to our Michelle and Janet and see if they've got any volunteers that have shown an interest in cookery for men. They might not have, but they might be able to put a call out to see if there is any volunteers that might like to start a group up.
That would be great because I've got a location. I think Hodge House Community would be a really good spot, and they've just had a new kitchen fitted. So that's kind of an idea that's stirring in the back. But yeah, so if I speak to Michelle about some volunteers that might be interested, that'd be a good shout.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tracy.
Thanks, Zoe. Peter.
Thanks. Thanks, Tracy. Nothing that I know of directly in Pendle, but just to say that this week in Preston has been held something called the Convention of the North, which is an annual get-together of the major policy leads, MPs, mayors, etc. Supposed to be listening to local people, but local people aren't really part of that main thing. So on Wednesday evening, we, and this is with my Citizens UK hat on, are holding a sort of satellite fringe event. I'm just going to post the link to that, 6 till 8 in the Darwin Lecture Theatre at UCLan, but you do have to register, and it is a place to actually hold leaders to account. So we've got a good turnout already, but the more people from Lancashire at that, the better. But I'll just put the a note on that in the chat, Tracy. Okay.
Thank you, Peter. Yeah, by all means. Thank you. Dan and Tom. Are they still there? Have they got fed up and gone? Oh no, they're still here.
Yeah, all right.
We're here and listening, don't worry.
So we work for the local Pendle up and active team. So myself and Tom are part of the exercise referral team as well. So there's 3 different parts really that up and active focus with. Exercise referral, cardiac rehabilitation, and healthy weight management as well. So like I said, myself and Tom, we deal mainly with exercise referral.
Just one thing I wanted to mention, like we've got a new chief executive who's recently started called Simon Gwynn. I don't know if you've come across him, anybody, but I think it's going to be a good appointment from our side of things, from the health point of view, because he's got his eyes open to working a little bit more with some groups that have been mentioned today, like dementia positive, things like that. So we're going to be actively looking at engaging with these groups a little bit more and trying to get them into the centres a little bit if we can do. Whereas in the past, like the focus has been a little bit more on the pure gym type model, where it's been 18 to 40s focus, but the gyms are going to be changing, become a bit more accessible for people and a bit less daunting maybe. And it's not just gyms, obviously, that we do for physical activity. It's the sports hall. We've got very gentle exercise classes that are going on. There's something for everyone from an exercise point of view. And obviously the weight management program, the cardiac rehabilitation, like separate ring fence programs that people can get involved with. But Vic, our manager, and Sam are really keen to get on board with the PCNs, the ICBs a little bit more. And also, like I said, specific groups like dementia positive, etc. Seeing how we can engage with them a little bit more, get them down to the centres, get involved with things that we do, be a bit more inclusive for everybody, really.
Just trying to promote sort of health and well-being across Pendle, really, targeting areas where people might not necessarily dive into it, and just getting that engagement. So working with different community groups. We've got a meeting set with Men's Talk in March. We're doing lots of work with the MSK down at Pendle community. So it's just trying to get sort of everyone into this 12-week program that we promote, which is sort of the healthy journey, trying to get everyone active again, which is good.
Can I just ask a question? Do you go out to community groups? So say Dementia Positive Pendle had a group of people that wanted some gentle exercise.
Yeah.
Would you, or not you particularly, not you personally, but would Up and Active be able to go out and deliver some gentle exercise in their venue?
So I've been over to Briarfield Library a couple of times and done a seated exercise with them, just giving little bits of advice and obviously taking them through a little bit of a demonstration. So that's something that we would be happy to do. It's just obviously, like Tom said, it's about creating those pathways between and sort of linking up the different communities.
Yeah.
Anything to add on that?
No, I mean, if you know any young people or even yourselves or anyone that's in your family that have a long-term health condition, they want to get active, then obviously like our programs are all geared around looking after people like that. It can be anything from anxiety, depression, respiratory problems, cardiac problems. Anything can make you eligible. And the benefit of being eligible for the program is that you can access the facilities that we've got, which are pretty good overall, even though some of the buildings are a little bit worn out now that we have. But the gyms particularly are really, really high-tech and modern. And the sports halls are decent too to do the exercise classes. So if you've got anyone who's interested, then feel free to refer in. You can refer in online on the Up and Active website. You can do a self-referral. It doesn't have to be from medical professionals. But we do a lot of work with like the physios, for example, and the cardiac teams. Like we go down and do taster sessions, and then people get to know us. They know who we are. The NHS type trust us to be the outboard for people to come and do the physical activity in the community with us once they've finished the treatments in primary care and whatnot. So yeah, if anyone's interested, feel free to get in contact with us. And it's predominantly me, Dan, and Emma that lead the physical activity sessions.
Yeah.
Can I just ask if you're on the health and wellbeing WhatsApp group, Dan and Tom, and anyone else on this call? There is a Pendle health and wellbeing WhatsApp group, and it's just a good forum just to instantly sort of exchange information and keep each other updated what's going on. But there may be opportunities through that. So I don't know if you're on that, but if you're not, I can add you.
It's not something I'm aware of, no. But I mean, would it be kind of like a works mobile number type thing that'd be?
Yeah.
We could definitely get added to that. And then share information about ourselves.
I'll put my mobile in the chat, and then if anyone else wants to join it as well. If they're not on and want to, then yeah, feel free to contact me.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Just on that, working in the community, I'm sure, Zoe, you referring to Up and Active. Do you work with our social prescribers and the social connectors as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like Dan's fairly new in post compared to me, but obviously probably been there about a year or so now. But like in the past, like I used to go on a Wednesday, for example, working with Kim, who's just been speaking earlier, closely with the neighbourhood team. But we still do have the links with them. I don't go there physically anymore because I'm so busy down here with classes and stuff. Like straight off this onto a class in a minute, to be, for example. So. But yeah, like James and whatnot, and Adilam, the health coach, they send people to us regularly. They've got sessions that happen within the centre, underneath the NHS banner sort of thing, the INT banner. But they're within our facilities, like the walking football group on a Wednesday, for example, things like that. So yeah, we do. Yeah, I speak to them. We've dealt with the psychological services like Natasha, Katie in the past and stuff. Yeah, we've got a decent link. And then Dan, I'm the east side, Dan's on the west side of Pendle, so it'd be like Zoe and Salma, etc. down there.
Yeah, Luke and Deborah, the health coaches down at Yarn Spinners as well. So, but yeah, it's like that's how Tom says. It's interconnecting between, and it's good. Really, it's what we just gives us the option to also refer people on if they're also looking for extra help other than just exercise itself. We've got those connections there where we can send as well. So yeah, it's good. It's good.
Good stuff. Thank you. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you. Katie.
Sorry, I'm on my phone, so it's a bit tricky. I'm just sitting in a car park at the moment. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, so CAP continuing to do the work around Pendle, doing home visits to support people who are suffering or struggling with debts. We're expanding our team, which is quite exciting. We're going to be taking on another debt coach. So it means we'll be able to support over 120 families on that sort of one-to-one, quite intense work that we're doing. And we're also going to be doing some other stuff around that. Still doing the money coaching, still doing life skills. Still booked up, like at the moment we're booked about 7-8 weeks in advance, but again seeing those clients sooner. But that's the reason we want to get somebody else in. So we're just advertising out for that in the next couple of weeks to hopefully get another debt coach in. And if once we get another debt coach in as well, that'll expand the amount of people that we're able to see as well through doing things like the money coaching and the drop-ins and things like that. So we'll be running some more money coaching courses in the near future. We've got our next life skills starting this Thursday. That's already full. So yeah, busy, unfortunately.
Busy, yeah.
Busy. And the other thing that, you asked about themes, one of the things that we're finding at the moment a lot is people who need help around like benefits forms or the transition from say ESA to universal credit or other things as well. And I know they can go to the job centre to help with the transition, but I think a lot of it is still done on the phone. And obviously a lot of people are struggling to do PIP forms or applying for limited capability. It's often again people that really struggle with phones and online and stuff like that. We have used Advocacy Focus quite a bit. I think they're really busy at the moment. I've contacted them about a couple of people I've referred in and who are still waiting to be seen. And I just think, yeah, that's something that could really do with some help with at the moment in this area. I don't know if other people are finding that as well. That yeah, I can see Karen nodding as well. Yeah, it's a big thing at the moment. It's just trying to get people help with that.
Well, Michaela's on this call from DWP, so not to put you on the spot, Michaela, I'll ask you in a second what kind of support's available. Catherine from Carers.
Hiya, yeah, just a quick one. Just on that with benefits and things, if anyone that you come across happens to be an unpaid carer, so if they're caring for a loved one, a husband, wife, child, parent, grandparent, things like that, anyone in the Pendle area who's an unpaid carer, we have a dedicated benefits and support worker back on board now. So we have someone anyway, but he's unfortunately been on long-term sick since November, so we've got someone new in post now, so we are taking in-person appointments again at home visits and things like that. It's a couple of weeks waiting, but hopefully a couple of weeks is better than nothing. And then Joe, his name is, can go to the home and fill out the form with the person. So they might not have come to you as an unpaid carer or anything like that. They might be struggling with something else. But if they do happen to be struggling caring for someone at home as well, Joe helps with PIP, attendance allowance, carers allowance, and general benefits forms as well. So give us a call.
So that's any unpaid care. Do you say like it can be a parent of a young child or anything like that as well?
A parent of anyone over the age of 6, yeah. So they're what our parent carer criteria is: anyone 6 to 18, the child being 6 to 18, and then anyone from any age up from that caring for someone as well.
Perfect, thank you.
No worries.
Thanks, Catherine. So, have you got a question for Katie?
Yeah, just kind of following on really from what Katie said, in that we're having a massive influx of people that are requiring support around PIP forms, limited capability, UC50 forms. So we, since Open Door kind of reduced the amount of referrals for that support, we kind of piled all ours to Advocacy Focus, and now we've got big waiting lists. But I did notice I was doing a online referral through to Welfare Rights, and I swear I read something on their page that said they are actually offering courses to people to complete. So if there was like a volunteer who wanted to kind of support with form filling, they will actually, Welfare Rights will train them up to complete the forms properly. And it's something that's just, I'd written it down somewhere, but it's just come back to me now that Welfare Rights could offer that. The other point I wanted to raise was obviously ICANN over at Preston can support around form filling, but for our area are charging astronomical amounts of money. So anybody who's on here that's kind of at the powers that be, if we could possibly put it on funding agenda around getting some funding for Pendle, perhaps to get ICANN to support with form filling for this area, because they do it, the funding's there for Burnley, isn't it, Tracy? So anybody in Burnley can access ICANN form filling for free, but Pendle has to pay about £100. Big difference.
Ridiculous state of affairs, isn't it?
Yeah, so if there was a funding stream somewhere that would support with that, that would be very beneficial in my eyes.
That's something that we can look at through the Household Support Fund. So we've allocated funding for advice support in the past, but we could be more specific and maybe put some resources to actual form filling, because I think that's what they've done in Burnley. They've ring-fenced some of the Household Support Fund for that. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I said that Danielle, I know Danielle who's on the call was asking about areas that could do with help, because we'll help with basic things like council tax support, or applying for things like that, but things like PIP and stuff like that, it's such a massive form, takes so long, we just don't have the capability to, or the capacity to be able to fill them in with people. Somebody's also mentioned to me the other day that Lancashire County Council has a team that'll help with it. And I think that's a lot of that's done over the phone though as well, which again people often struggle with. So yeah, but that is definitely an area that would be really helpful. I'm really sorry, I'm gonna have to go because I'm currently sat in a car park in Burnley and I need to get back over to Colne. So I'm really sorry that I'm gonna have to rush off. But thank you very much. I don't really know how to turn the call while I'm on the
No worries. Thanks, Katie.
Yeah, all right, take care, thank you. Bye.
Bye. Okay, Michaela.
Hello, good afternoon. Just swizzle around. I've got two screens going. I thought it was easy to switch it off. So yeah, I know that you asked obviously about the claimants that we've got at the minute that are kind of moving over from other benefits like use from ESA and things. So obviously there's they can either make a claim over the phone or online for that and things. And if they are really struggling, obviously they can come into the job centre, and we can do what we can to support them with, like, if we're able to sit with people and kind of go through it if needs be and things. My role is relatively new, so I was work coaching. I'm now going to be a community work coach. So we're trying at the minute to see how that's going to look in terms of where I'll be kind of based within the community and things. So at the minute, it's obviously we're just trying to work out where the I best fit and things and stuff. But if there is anything in terms of if there's anything that I can do to support, whether it's Pendle or Burnley, I know that I'm a member of both, please do feel free to kind of reach out, and I'll see what I can do to support in terms of that. Obviously, don't give me an influx of like millions of people because I'm just one woman. But if there is anything, you know, urgent that you feel might need our attention and stuff, if I'm not able to deal with it, there'll be other people as well that'll be able to support with that as well. I'm quite happy to help where I can.
I think perhaps it's feeding it up the food chain as well, Michaela, that,
Yeah.
you know, not everybody can get into the job centre, not everybody can use the phone or the internet to fill a form in. You know, is there some other way that DWP could support people to fill forms in? Just maybe just feeding that
Yeah,
up.
it is a big problem, you know. Obviously, like I know that other people have echoed it in terms of like their work capability and stuff, and obviously the people that I'm working with at the minute, you know, there's quite a lot of vulnerable people, so I understand that and things, and trying to get them the right support and the things that are out there at the minute to help those people. Like everybody else has said, they're quite overwhelmed and things, so it's but you know, I understand in terms of that where it's, you know, that there's areas of need and things, and it's definitely things that we're flagging up, and it's, you know, it's tricky, you know, but and things, but it's definitely on the radar, but it's how far up it goes, I suppose.
Yeah, thank you, Michaela. Really quickly, Zoe, and I'll come to you next, Kirsty.
I was just going to ask Michaela, are the disability employment advisors still based within the job centres? I know as a team we've found it quite difficult to, we've been emailing. We have Julia up here in Nelson, and then is it Caroline down in Burnley?
Yeah.
We've been emailing, but we've not been kind of getting any responses. I just wanted to check that they were still kind of in.
Yeah, we've got Julia, unfortunately, has been unwell, so she's only just coming back to work. So they're in the process at the minute of they've recruited a couple of new DEAs who are training up at the minute, or that have just completed training. We do have ones that are kind of based in other job centres as well. So like Caroline works part-time usually. So if there is anything, you know, in terms of that, if you wanted to send me an email or something, I can always pass it over and things if there's anything urgent. But as far as I'm aware, it's just the usual process. Are you emailing Julia directly, or is it an email, like a generic?
We've been sending them to Julia, and then there was a couple of my clients that are in Burnley, and I'd messaged Caroline, but I'd not had a response to. So I just was checking that they were still there, and I wasn't just sending it into the ether, you know.
No, that's fine. So Julia's been off, so that'll be why she's not got back to you. And obviously, like with leave and things like that, sometimes Caroline's not in. So it's just, I will pass it on though, and just ask them to pick it up.
That's great. Thank you.
Put your email down, Michaela, in the chat.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
Kirsty, did you want to ask a question?
Yeah, sorry. It's just again for Michaela. Do you know who is now the new representative for the young person's side of DWP? Because the work coaches that we've previously worked with, we're not getting responses from at all.
Right. Okay. I can find out for you. And just see who it is that's. I know there's been quite a lot of change as well with like the youth teams and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So the ones that you've been working with, are they the ones from the Yes Hub? Do you know, the youth hub?
We have a really good relationship with the Yes Hub itself, and we get referrals from them. It's the job centre side of it and the work coaches. We're not getting anything, but we're also not getting any responses to our emails either.
Right. Okay. No problem. Yeah, that's fine. I'll I can find out who that is and try and get them to maybe just pass that information on and stuff. If there's a best way to get hold of you, feel free to just pop me a message.
I've put our email in the chat, but what I'll do is if you've put yours in, I'll send you an email and we'll go from there.
No problem.
Fab, thank you very much. Thank you, Michaela.
Sorry. No worries. It's all right. I feel like I got bombarded there. We're getting a grilling. I didn't sign up for this.
Sorry, I did say it was going to be a party once a month. Clearly not for you. Thank you, Michaela. Thank you. And last but not least, Catherine from Carers Link.
Hiya. So I'll try and keep it brief. Just a quick update from us. We're now starting to plan Carers Week. So week commencing the 9th of June. It's our biggest campaigning week for unpaid carers in the community. We are going to be doing an event every single day throughout that week. We're going to try and cover as many of the boroughs as we can. There's definitely a couple that we've got planned in the Pendle area. The timetable for that will be coming out in the first week of April, but I'll share it in here probably in next month's meeting before it goes out to the community. And then you guys have got the heads up on it. And then the only other thing that we're really pushing at the moment with the new year, our new strategy, is around the Colne charity shops. So I don't know if anyone's had a chance to pop by. It's on Market Street. It's just opposite Colne Market. It's a charity shop downstairs, but upstairs it's a bridal boutique and occasion wear boutique. It specialises in occasion wear. It's really affordable. You can get red tie occasion wear dresses for £30 to £50, suits for £60, that sort of thing. So obviously wedding season's coming up, prom season's coming up. If any of you work with any families that have these events or have children in the schools that are going to prom and they can't afford to potentially go to high street retailers, send them our way. We can arrange fittings, make it really special, and then hopefully sell them their dream dresses as well. I'll put the information for that in the chat. Thank you.
Thanks, Catherine. And just from me, we're 90 BPRCVS, not me personally. We are 90 this year. We're going to be having various events across the 3 areas that we cover. Please look out for it. If you'd like to send a comment or whatever you'd like, or if you'd agree to be videoed, just having a little interview for any of the groups that have been supported by us or indeed supported us. So, for instance, Kirsty the King's Trust has been working on our Ghana Community Garden. Sometimes they'll go up and tidy it up and put some plants in. That'd be quite nice. So get in touch with me, tracy.noon@bprcvs.co.uk. And thank you, everybody. I never think we're going to do this, but we're 15:03. So we're 3 minutes late starting and we're 3 minutes late finishing. So the bob on an hour. I never think we're going to do it, you know. I always sit here going, oh, we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. But we do every single time. Thank you so much, everybody. Please do keep up those links with each other. Give us a shout if you need anything. If there's anybody that you think might benefit from being a member of People of Pendle, please do pass on the form or pass on mine or Lorna's email address and we'll get a form to them and then they'll get all the information as well. Thank you very much, and I hope it's sunny wherever you are, because it is quite sunny here. Yeah, you're all nodding and you're all thumbs up. So go and have 10 minutes out. Oh yeah, that's lovely, Peter. Lovely garden. Go and have 10 minutes outside in the sunshine and have a lovely afternoon, and I'll see you in a month's time. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tracy. Thanks, bye.
Thanks, bye.
Cheers, thank you.